Hello and welcome to Total IELTS. Peter here, and in today's lesson I'll be looking at IELTS reading strategies for the multiple choice question type. Multiple choice is the most common reading test question type, and you will find it in at least one of the sections of the test. So it's important to have a strategy for this popular question type. There are several forms of the multiple choice question type. One of them is choosing an answer from a list of 3 or 4 options to complete a sentence or answer a question. Always follow the question numbers for the order of the answers in the text. Here, for example, in questions 38 to 40, you need to choose one from 4, A, B, C, or D. And you will not find the answer for question 38 after the answer for 39. Another type is choosing options from a list, and there'll always be more options than answers. The order of the options are the same as the information in the text. Here, for example, you need to choose 5 from 10, A to J. And you will not find the answer for option B after the answer for option A. Another type is you are required to choose an option from a list to complete a sentence or answer a question, and it can be a title or summary of the text as a whole. This question type is always the last one in the section. Here, for example, question 40, the last question in the test, you are required to choose A, B, C, or D. And the summary here is the most significant thing about tortoises. Let's look at some of the challenges for the multiple choice question type. And the obvious one, and the one that students talk about all the time, is the sheer amount of reading that needs to be done. Not only do you need to read a long text, but you need to read carefully. Here, for example, a list of 10 options. So it's a lot of reading. For this, first of all, speed or skim read the text first. Summarize the main idea or information from each paragraph. You can do this by making notes on the question paper or on the screen for the computer-delivered test. Here, for example, it's quite a long paragraph, and the main idea here is the restoration work that was done by craftsmen and women. When you do this, it will give you a good idea of the type of information or main idea of each paragraph. Then, when you read the question or the first half of the sentence, or read the list of options, you can go directly to that paragraph, and you don't need to scan the whole text to locate the answer again and again. Other challenges involve the use of synonyms and paraphrase and distractors. For synonyms and paraphrase, when you read the question and the list of options, highlight the key words, but don't expect to match them in the text. Instead, think of synonyms for these key words. Here, for example, option D says it would cut down on air pollution, and the text says drastically reducing its carbon dioxide emissions. So a synonym for cut down is reduce, and actually an example of air pollution is carbon dioxide emissions. Distractors are used extensively in multiple choice. In fact, the incorrect options are by definition distractors. Read the options carefully. Think of the meaning of the sentence as a whole. Be careful of qualifying words such as all or most. These can change the meaning of the sentence completely. Here, for example, in question 38, we have examples of all and most. For example, which of the 5 following claims about tidal power are made by the writer? Option B says it would replace all other forms of energy in Britain. And the text says if tide, wind and wave power are developed, Britain will be able to close gas, coal and nuclear power plants. So it's very tempting here to choose option B. But if you go back to the question, it's only claims about tidal power, not wind and wave power. So these are classic distractors. In summary, multiple choice is the most common question type in the IELTS reading test. You'll find it in at least one of the sections, so it's important to have a strategy for this question type. The challenges include the amount of reading. Not only do you have a lengthy text, but also an extensive set of options. Start by skim or speed reading the text first. Make notes on the paper or the screen that summarize the main idea or the information contained in each paragraph. Here is an example we saw before. Then read the options and then locate where the answer is. And you can do this based on your notes you made before. This will save you a lot of time in the test. For synonyms and paraphrase, highlight the key words and think of their synonyms. You can match names and numbers. However, be careful because the names and numbers are mentioned more than once. As for distractors, all incorrect options are by definition distractors. Try to understand the question as a whole and be careful of the qualifying words in the list of options. And finally, for multiple choice, always make a guess. Never leave a blank question. There is a high percentage that your guess will be right.